right. Well, thank you very much, Nier. And I will start off here with my series, which is another big one that was talked about, I guess, in the build up to the season, which is Ishura. So, quick synopsis here. In a world where the Demon King has died, a host of demigods capable of felling him have inherited the world. A master fencer who can figure out how to take out their opponents with a single glance. A lancer so swift they can break the sound barrier. A wyvern rogue who fights with three legendary weapons at once. An all powerful wizard who can speak thoughts into being. An angelic assassin who deals instant death. Eager to attain the title of quote unquote true hero, these champions each pursue challenges against formidable foes and spark conflicts among themselves. Battle to determine the mightiest of the mighty begins. Yeah, so that's the premise. This is a light novel original written by Keiso. He did some other manga before, like this, that were based upon sort of isekai likes, high fantasy, power fantasy stuff, um, battle stuff. Like out, I think one of his manga was called Outrageal, which was I think an isekai series with heroine that was based around this yakuza theme or whatever, and also another sort of battle royale isekai kind of stuff called the Exodrive Reincarnation Games, All Japan Isekai Battle Tournament. Which, from the
Wow.
title itself, obviously you can tell, very.
Original?
I'll try. I'll try to be charitable here. Very interesting line of thought for an author, right? So this was adapted by Ishura, rather, was adapted by Passione, known for their works with stuff like Rail Wars. They started off with stuff like Rail Wars Interest. Obviously, more recently, they've done stuff like Higurashi remakes. They're also doing the upcoming Spice and Wolf sequel, which looks pretty decent in the trailers here. And they got a decent amount of art help from subcontractors and Goofy Studios and Sans again, and the staff mainly does reflect that sort of balance here. They did art. They have obviously other subcontractors helping as well, but it's mostly from Goofy and Sans. They they did. Let's see, sorry. Yeah. So the chief director here is Takashi Takeo, who was part of the Passione team for Citrus. He did Roku no Yusha, I think, Roku of the Six Blades with Passione as well. But he also headed Akisora, Maoyu, uh, the the original two seasons of Spice Wolf, I think, and Yosuke no Sora, which is a very interesting resume, to be sure.
Yeah.
But here he is, and obviously he's gonna be heading the next Spice and Wolf, so he's pretty much in the thick with chief director. The other people are also kind of um, from some of the other Passione projects, such as Ogawa Yuki, who did Nier will love this. FLCL Progressive Interspecies Reviewers, and he also helped
Wow.
Passione with Miyaruko-chan.
Wow, that
And
is
the
a
series
pedigree.
That's a fucking rap
gets
sheet if I ever heard one.
gets even better. And the series composition and scriptwriter is Ihara Kenta, who did FLCL Alternative Shoegaze series composition and
Wow.
scriptwriting, and helped out again as well as Yojo Senki, Shachipato, and Isekai Oji-san script writing during the anime adaptation. And obviously, again, help with a lot of other veterans and the like from various Passione connections. Music done by Tokuda Masahiro, who did stuff for more recent stuff for Bullbuster, as well as Platinum End, so on and so forth. So yeah, so that's the major makeup, and I want to say a lot of money probably went a decent amount of money probably went to this the staff as well as the audio visuals, but also so much money went into the the voice acting cast. So much money. I think this is arguably the biggest, I guess, prominent name list of voice actors and actresses that I've seen in at least the last couple of years. So Ueda Reina, Kaji Yuki, Oscar Akio, Yuki Aoi, Fukuyama Jun, Yamada Del Koichi, Noto Mamiko, Okamoto Nobuhiko, Takashi Rie, Romy Park, Miki Shinichiro, Morikubu Shotaro,
Wow.
Amamiya Sora, Koyasu Takehito, Tomokazu Sugita, Horie Yui, Hanamori Yumiri. And they have like they're pulling in people like what is it, Hasegawa Ikumi, Asami Seto, and Hidaka Rina as like supporting characters, just like in random episodes. It is silly. This cast is the silliest fucking cast that I've seen for an anime of this caliber in, I want to say, probably in the last at least 3 years, if not more. Uh, so that's sort of the voice acting cast. I was very surprised when I saw this. It was not something I had expected for sure. The the OPED just, I think, what was it? Shura, I think the opening theme is called Shura ni Otoshite by Sajo no Hana. It was okay, not really my vibe, but it was more affected by the general series than anything else. Um, I know Hakka, I think Konomi Suzuki, the ending theme was a little bit better. Both of them were pretty standard anime song opening things. I wasn't too impressed by the composition. Obviously, the singing was pretty good. It is nothing very impressive, I would say, in terms of the actual the actual instrumentals themselves. Let's see that. So yeah, and the audio visuals themselves, I was not really impressed with the OST. The animation, the battle scenes were okay, but it wasn't anything that really popped out to me. It wasn't like again something like Brave Burn or Free Run where I was like looking at it. Oh, this is like what they try to go for. This they try to animate it. Wow, this is pretty kind of thing. It was very standard. Again, they put a lot of money more into the battle scenes, and the animation relatively fluid, but again, like nothing that I what that was eye popping. Say. So that's it for the staff and the audio visuals, and I'm just gonna go into the story. The story is, and I'm gonna say it straight up. So this was set up to be, or not set up. This is going to be a battle royale anime, and as it is, not only a battle royale anime, but an isekai battle royale. As it is, that is already wearing my temperature. Like even before I get into this anime, it's going to be a battle royale series, and it doesn't. That's it's just not a working formula. Okay, it's not a good formula. So I'm already coming into this tempered expectations, and the tournament aside, the initial setup is the standard kind of thing that you see during battle royale series, where they episode by episode, arc by arc, they set up each of the characters. Right, they show the backgrounds of the characters, focusing on some. First is about the main girl as well as the weak main girl as the one of the sort of demigods slash super strong guys called Yagyu Sojiro, which is Japanese. Like, so he's like a Japanese master swordsman who can like cut through anything and all that crap. And then they go through other stuff. They have Dragon Wyvern guy. They have Hoshiase Alice or whatever. Alice the Star Runner. He's like a dragon dude who can wield through whatever stuff like. And it's like all this uh or sorry, not the what was the Lancer, right? Sorry. So he has that. The what is it? Kia, the I don't the girl that like can like speak words and like whenever she speaks, kind of the world changes with her or whatever. And they introduce these series one by one, and or sorry, these characters one by one, and each of these characters have their own backstories and stories per episode. And the episode is usually centered around the how sort of the people around them react to the characters having this superpower, right? And them being all this almighty being, and how they themselves deal with this power, right? Whether they're battle hungry, whether they want to protect others, whether they've accepted this sort of eventuality of everybody around them kind of being regular humans while they're the superhuman, all this sort of stuff. Very standard in terms of these sorts of character developments. And yeah, that's been pretty much all that's been going on for 5 episodes. And then the 6th episode or so is sort of the starting of when they start gathering all these characters together for the battle tournament. Um, my opinion in this is that none of the character interact. Well, there's a couple of like that. A None of these character interactions that I've seen, like, oh, I'm battle hungry. I just Japanese swordsman or like um what is it? Just like, oh, I'm like super powerful, and then the people around me are kind of like jealous and they want to do XYZ or whatever. None of these interactions that I've seen so far and seen and read a little bit about so far are very unique or interesting. So it's one thing to have these characters in develop develop within a battle royale story just to give the viewer just to connect the viewers with the character. But these character developments actually need to be unique and engaging. It can't just be like, oh, I'm just an ass. Oh, I'm being surrounded by friends that are jealous or whatever. This is not, or like, oh, I'm just facing the eventuality of bubble mortality in front of me, crap like that. Eh, I'm not that particularly enamored by these standard developments, and whatever these character developments tend to be, they need to be more unique, I think, at least more uncommon, right? And for them to, else I'm kind of like, why am I watching this? Why am I watching Ishura? Why am I not watching any other sort of journey series where people are just interacting with each other and coming to grips with, their various human flaws, right? Why am I watching the character episodes in Ishura when I could be watching, Majo no Tabi Tabi, right? Or Kino no Tabi or Spice and Wolf or whatever. And I think uh, Utsumi Hiroko kind of tried to, well, not Utsumi Hiroko, what the saying? Uh, sorry, the chief director, right? Um, Takashi Takeo, right? He tried to put too much of his prior experience in creating these like storyboarding, kind of emphasize too much this sort of like episodic character aspect, and it kind of as honestly, I'm gonna be very blunt. When he was trying to do this sort of omnibus style series with Yosuga no Sora, he wasn't very good at it. Like, it was Yosuga no Sora, the way the anime adaptation panned out, and it kind of pictured sort of various routes on various, right? It was not very well done. And I don't think he's improved that much in his handling of Ishida. It's unfortunate, but it is what. And second, I think the pace, again, much like how Yusuke no Sora's sort of omnibus episode handling was done, is also very poorly done. We cannot be halfway through the series. I think this is 12 episode series, and it's already just like, okay, well, we've introduced some of these characters, and then we've introduced kind of these characters, and then we're kind of going to a battle tournament, except we also have to handle this the various kind of tensions between each of the characters, and we have to actually pull the characters together, right? We can't have just various demigods or various like superheroes or superpowered characters far apart from each other. We need to pull them together so they can actually form one coherent story, and then we need to take these group of people, push them towards the battle tournament where they have the battle royale. So neither of these things are being done very pacing. Again, episode 6, now they're barely starting to kind of come towards uh, each other, and that's just not going to work in an anime adaptation. They're going to need to start fucking chopping off heads very, very soon. So that's sort of B. Point B, the pacing is poorly done. And C, I just, and this is a little bit more of a jab at the source material. I just don't see the point of it. I just, you know, it's a very the tone is just not working out with how the premise is kind of going. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's just why, god damn it. It's just this whole battle royale thing is so. This is why I hate it, right? It's like all these characters are trying to have their own serious development. And let's say in an alternate timeline, they have these unique organic developments. They all came together and they were talking with each other like Yagi was talking with like Kia and having all these interactions. So, made sense and were nice and whatever and developed the characters organically. Okay. And then instead of developing that and maybe like foreshadowing some, evil or foreshadowing some truth of the world that they have to solve or doing some statecraft or whatever, you throw them into a battle royale. Like, what the fuck did you just do? It's just you took all this quality character development, this like meat, prime, juicy marbled beef, and you just threw it into the meat grinder to make a ham. This is what you did. You took you took wagyu beef, you put it into the meat grinder so you can make your fucking sausage. And the battle royale just diffuses any sort of seriousness that I had approaching these sorts of characters in the first place. Because at the end of the day, they're just gonna be like, yeah, I had all these relations, but you know what? I'm gonna need to fucking kill each. We're just gonna need to fucking kill each other. And it's like, what the fuck, guys? So I I just don't know why this battle royale had to be a thing in the story, other than the fact that the author really, really likes to do battle royale series. And it's just very frustrating because maybe this series, the characters could maybe have been salvaged if they were pulled together after their initial character settings and kind of made to kind of nuzzle next to each other and talk it out and have these character dialogues. But no, it's just gonna be battle royale. It's like, okay, well,
True.
sure. Battle royale solve everything, I guess.
True.
It's,
I
it's
mean, battle
so fucking
royale is the
frustrating.
key to success, as we've seen
Yeah.
time and again.
Oh my god. It's like, oh my god, why would you do this? Why would you do this to a not a perfectly good, but like a decent-ish setup? It's just very. And so there's really not much to talk more about the anime in general because it's again this at a point where all the character most the main character kind of cast has been fleshed out, or initially kind of the baseline has been laid out, and now they're kind of hurtling towards each other to make the story more coherent or less episodic. But again, it's there's the looming threat, literary dagger of the battle royale coming up, and it's just so depressing to even think about. I don't see a reason to read or watch this series. I just don't know, man. It's like the character development isn't done very well, so or is it's not very unique and it's not like done particularly well along that line. So you might as again well go watch some other series. Uh, again, something like Majin Tabi Tabi, something like Natsume Yujincho, Spice and Wolf, whatever. There's the pacing is shitty, so even if again in this alternate timeline there was good character development and it wasn't a battle royale or whatever, it would still be a subpar anime. And it's a fucking battle royale anime. So there are zero reasons to watch any part of this really. Maybe if you want to jack off to the swordsman character or like the various like superpower scenes in the series, but I don't know. Other than that, it's really depressing. There's not much that I think. I would rate this a yeah, I would rate this a 2. Like, I cannot give it any higher than it's like, there's no point in watching, sorry. I hate this shit, man.
How are the
But
visuals?
the visuals, I think I said it a little back, but it's like, um, the battle scenes and, like, when the actual, like, powers come into being are pretty good. They are obviously, like, saving a lot of the frames for that. Um, but it's not something that is distinctly impressive in like a technical sense or like at terms of like scale. You know what I mean? It's not
Right.
something like a Violet Evergarden or like a Phase Zero where you're or UBW where you're like shit. Like
Yeah.
this is tops. And it's also not a technical limit pushing thing like an Orange Studio series. Um, it's like it does an okay job. I wouldn't say it's eye-popping impressive. So that yeah, that's all I had to say about the series. Again, like despite it having those solid visuals, I can't give the series any higher than 2 or yeah, maybe a 2.5, but it's hard. There's no justification for watching the series. Sorry.